Hello, Katja. I welcome you to the video series Meet the Expert in Citizen Social Science. So, you're a scientist at the ZSI, that's the Center for Social Innovation in Vienna, and at the same time you work at the University of Vienna in the Department of Science and Technology Studies. So my first question for you, what is your identity as a citizen social scientist? What does it mean for you? How would you define yourself?
In the project COACT, I'm helping my colleagues from the Center for Social Innovation to develop new approaches to the question of evaluation. So for those of you people in the audience who don't know what evaluation means, it's about finding out whether a scientific project is reaching its goals and what kind of impact, also not only scientific but also social impact, is generated with a scientific project. So as you can imagine, this is a little bit different in citizen science, and it's in particular different with citizen social science, because in citizen social science we start from social concerns, and they form the heart of the knowledge production. And so we cannot use traditional or commonly used evaluation procedures that we know in science. It doesn't make sense to count publications. It doesn't make sense to count types of cooperations with other institutions and so on, because what would that mean for the citizens that are involved? So we need to rethink this idea, what is a benefit for the people that participate, and what is a benefit even on a larger level, on a socio-ecological level. So this is in a way the background from where we come and where we entered the project COACT, and why we are so interested here to have the opportunity to maybe develop innovative new approaches.
Mm-hmm. So I link you to citizen social science because of your approach to co-evaluation. Mm-hmm. So you already talked about evaluation, but I think that your special contribution is the co-evaluation. Mm-hmm. So could you relate this to citizen social science a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we think in processes that are co-designed together with a lot of stakeholders in a multitude of interests. It's important also to do the evaluation in this setting. We think it's not enough that scientists or some external evaluators come and define what is a good or bad impact or outcome of a journal. So for us, it's really important now to think about how to best include the multiple stakeholders that are relevant for the project and the different types of participation that these projects include. So co-evaluation means to co-design not only the process of evaluation, but also what is to be measured and what is to be observed during the project. And this is really important to do it from the beginning of the project and with the inclusion of the different types of participants. So, for example, in COACT, we did it like this. We started at the beginning when there was the first meetings together with all the stakeholders to ask, what are your expectations? What do you expect from this project? How can this project benefit your interests? And this we collected over the course of the project again and again, so that now, reaching the end very soon, we'll come back to this kind of process and development of expectations and see what has worked out, what has not worked out. But this was really important to get a deeper insight of all the different layers of outcomes that are also possible in such projects, because this is an area not very well documented until now, especially in the social part of citizen science, where the social questions are more important.
And you have an example where you were really surprised that you can remember, oh, I didn't expect this, so that opens something new in this project towards evaluation? Mm-hmm. Was there such a situation?
Yeah. I mean, we were surprised all the time. So we also, because of the COVID pandemic, of course, we had to rearrange our original plans and had to adapt a lot. So there was a lot of surprises. And of course, it also was quite hard to keep up this co-design process also on the level of evaluation the whole time, when there was just social distancing happening everywhere. So we could not be present. We had to kind of meet all the stakeholders of the projects together online and from a distance. That was not so easy, I have to say. So this was maybe a limitation, but surprisingly, it worked very well in terms of learnings. So we learned, for example, that we should focus much more on the process, on the research process itself, because there are little outcomes. Maybe little is not the right word, because they are very important for the people involved, but there are outcomes already that happen during the research project. So we should not forget to focus on the process, because some participants, for example, said that just being part of the project changed their views on a particular situation, or was in a way creating a therapeutic effect for them. This was one really important learning, to focus also a lot on the process. And then that is also the idea behind co-evaluation, to feed back this into the research process and the research cycle. So to kind of create loops of in this knowledge production, so that also the project management can kind of react to these immediate feedbacks. So this was a really important learning. And then, of course, the whole multitude of potential impacts that we didn't even think about, because we are scientists and we are not coming from the social concerns that were studied.
Yeah.
So that were a lot of really interesting learnings there.
And could you tell us something, how do you put it into practice? So what is it what you do when you do co-evaluation with the citizen co-researchers?
So the idea is to have sort of workshops together, which are most of the time attached to the other activities that are there, together with the whole team and the co-researchers, to co-define goals and to reflect upon expectations and processes that happened. So this can be done in very different ways. This can be...
Could you describe just one way that you like probably most?
Well, actually, COVID did not allow us to do those, or to kind of further develop those formats that we like most, because there was no presence possible. But even online, it was always nice to have a more playful approach, to work with like post-it walls, and where people could put their things like together on a wall, arranging it into clouds or clusters of meaning. So that worked pretty well, I think. But also we for example, had a virtual house, where people kind of could build the different stories, and then up to the roof. And we kind of asked them, what would success mean for you in your kind of, coming from your background, from your interest? What is the timeline that you foresee for the project? What are the outcomes that might be relevant for other people? So we kind of try to adapt a little bit the online situation. And so that is how we worked. So it was kind of workshops together with the researchers and the knowledge coalitions, not so much the co-researchers, because we didn't have so much access with them. But it's basically important to keep that up over the whole research project, and not just to do it in the beginning, or not just at the end, because that is the most important thing. And then maybe to still develop interesting approaches and interesting formats, so it doesn't get boring for the people when they're involved.
Last question. So how do you envision the future of citizen social science?
Bright future.
Yeah?
It's a bright future. No, really, I mean that seriously, because with policy making now, currently preparing or even having implemented a lot of programs that have participation at their core, be it the mission orientation of the European Union to smaller local funding programs. I think we need to address these limits and challenges, but also benefits of participation much more. And we are very well suited to do this in the social sciences. And I think now is the time to learn and to document and to critically assess what can be done. And so this is why I see a bright future for citizen social science.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was quite interesting. Thank you so much that you participate into our video series. And yes, I wish you the best for all your projects that will come in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you.